Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to discuss about fiction. So what is fiction? Fiction is the literary production of man's imagination finding shape in stories of people or events. Literature created from the imagination, not presented as fact though it may be based on a true story or situation. The word fiction came from the Latin word "fictio", which means the act of making, fashioning, or molding. And there are six kinds of fiction. The first one is prose allegory, second one is prose romance, third one is prose satires, the fourth one is novel, the fifth one is short story, and the last one is novelette. So the first kind of fiction is prose allegory, which means it is a prose form in which the characters, ideas, and actions stand for something else or for a system of ideas with meaning. So concrete characters are personifications of abstract ideas. And here are fictions under prose allegory. The first one is fable. It is a short allegorical tale conveying moral or principle of behavior. So the characters are usually animals talking like human beings but keeping their animal traits. Often moral is appended in the form of proverb. The example for this one is the tortoise and the hare. The next one is the myths. So the myths are the traditional tales common to the members of tribes, race, or nation, usually involving supernatural phenomena or religious or moral truth. Example for this one is Greek mythology, Poseidon. The last one is legend. Legends are stories of some wonderful events popularly believed to have historical basis passed down through ages. The best example for this one is the story of Piña, which this Philippine legend tells the story of how the pineapple fruit got so many eyes. So that's all for the prose allegory. Let's move on to the next one. The prose romance. Prose romance are types of stories in which some supernatural or magical events, fantastic and unrealistic, occur, such as fairy tale. It is a children's story about magical and imaginary beings and lands. Example is The Beauty and the Beast. Another one is folktale. It is a story originating in popular culture, typically passed on by word of mouth. The best example is The Man with the Coconuts. The last one is myth and legends. It is romance about traditional story that explains the beliefs and traditional story about the past. So, let's move on to the next one. The prose satires. Prose satires are stories in which human vices and follies are held up to ridicule. Example, Fabliau. It is a metrical tale, typically a bodily, humorous one, of a type found chiefly in early French poetry. So a fabliau is a comic, often anonymous tale written by jongleurs in northeast France between 11th and 14th century. They are generally characterized by sexual and scatological obscenity, and by a set of contrary attitudes or too contrary to the church and to nobility. Next is novels. What is novel? Novels are prose narratives on a large book length and can be divided into three types: fantasy, love, and adventure novels. The next one is short story. A short story is a brief fictional prose narrative that is shorter than a novel and that usually deals with only a few characters. So a short story is a brief work of fiction usually written in prose and running 1,600 to 20,000 words in length. The literary roots of the short story can be found in oral storytelling traditions such as anecdotes, fables, fairy tales, and parables. So the last one is novelettes. Novelettes is a short novel, typically one that is light and romantic or sentimental in character. Any work of fiction with a word count between 7,500 and 19,000 is generally considered a novelette. A novelette is longer than a short story, which usually has a word range of between 1,000 and 7,500 words, and a flash fiction which is usually under 1,000